Everyone tells you that money is about what you earn, what you save, what you invest. And I understand why you believe that. You were taught to believe that. The schools taught it, the banks taught it, every financial article you have ever read taught it. But I am going to tell you something today that runs completely against all of it. And when you hear it, part of you will resist it. And that resistance will be the most important thing to notice. Because the part of you that resists is the part that has been keeping you exactly where you are. Your home is speaking. Right now, before you change a single habit, before you open another savings account, before you hustle another hour, your home is already sending a signal. And if you have broken things sitting inside it, a cracked mirror, a clock that stopped, a chair with a snapped leg, a drawer that no longer closes, a lamp that flickers and dies, that signal is the signal of lack, of stagnation, of a life that has quietly accepted that things do not get repaired. And the universe, the spiritual infrastructure that governs the flow of abundance, is listening to that signal every single day. I have spent over 30 years studying the ancient texts of Jewish wisdom, the Talmud, the Zohar, the writings of the great Kabbalistic masters who understood that the physical world and the spiritual world are not separate. They are mirrors of each other. What you allow in your physical space, you are declaring about your spiritual reality. My grandfather, may his memory be a blessing, was a rabbi in a small community in Eastern Europe. He used to walk through the homes of his congregants, not to inspect them, not to judge them, but because he said you could read a family's spiritual condition from their walls and their shelves more clearly than from any conversation. He told me once, when I was perhaps 9 years old, standing beside him in a home where the window latch had been broken for 3 years and nobody had fixed it. Naomi, a broken thing that is tolerated becomes a declaration. It tells heaven, we have accepted this. We are not expecting better. I did not fully understand him then. I understand him completely now. Before we go any further, I need you to type the words, I receive repair, in the comments right now. Do it before we continue. When you write those words publicly, you are making a declaration, not just to me, not just to anyone reading, but to yourself. You are telling the deepest part of your own consciousness that you are no longer a person who tolerates brokenness. That shift begins before a single object in your home is touched. Type it now. I will wait. Most people, when they hear what I am about to share, think it is about tidiness. They think this is a cleaning video. They think I am going to tell them to organize their closets and buy matching storage boxes. And if that is what you are expecting, I want to gently correct that expectation right now. Because what I am going to share with you is not about aesthetics. It is not about minimalism or interior design or anything the modern world packages and sells on social media. This is about something the ancient teachers called the principle of reshut, the domain, the territory, the energetic jurisdiction of your life. And within that domain, everything you allow to remain broken is a hole through which your prosperity quietly leaks. Think about what a broken thing represents. Not symbolically, literally. A broken thing is something that was once whole and has not been returned to wholeness. It is interrupted function. It is a task that was begun and never completed. And in the world of spiritual law, incompletion is one of the most powerful magnets for more incompletion. The sages understood something that modern psychology is only beginning to catch up with. That the environment you live inside does not just reflect your inner world, it shapes it. Every day you walk past the cracked tile you have not repaired, something in your nervous system registers. We are behind. Every day you open the cabinet door that comes off its hinge and you close it carefully so it does not fall, something in your subconscious registers. We manage around problems. We do not solve them. And that registration becomes a posture. That posture becomes a frequency. And that frequency is what you carry into every financial decision, every negotiation, every opportunity that comes before you. You are not failing because you are not smart enough. You are not failing because the economy is against you. I have seen people in far worse material circumstances than yours break through into genuine financial change within months. Not because they found a new strategy, but because they changed what they were declaring with their physical space. And I have seen people with significant income remain trapped in cycles of financial anxiety because their home was quietly broadcasting a frequency of tolerance for dysfunction. This is the root that most financial teaching never reaches. And it is exactly the route I am going to take you to today. Stay with me until the very end of this teaching. There is a specific order to what I am going to share, and if you leave before I complete it, you will have the information, but not the architecture. And the architecture is everything. I want to tell you about something I witnessed many years ago when I was a young rabbi working with a family in my community, a husband and wife, 2 children, a modest apartment on the 3rd floor of a building in a neighborhood that had seen better days. This family worked, both of them, long hours, honest work, and yet they came to me because month after month something always happened. Something always took the money before it could accumulate. A car repair, a medical bill, a landlord issue, always something. They were not reckless people. They were not spenders. They genuinely could not understand why the floor of their financial life refused to rise. I remember sitting in their kitchen on a Tuesday evening, the light coming through the window at a low angle the way it does in late autumn, and I looked around. The faucet in the kitchen had a slow drip. I could hear it from where I sat. There was a light fixture above the table with one bulb burned out and not replaced, so the room was slightly dim on one side. The front door, when I had come in, required a firm shoulder push to close properly. The frame had shifted, and the latch no longer caught cleanly. A small thing. The kind of thing you stop noticing after a few weeks because you simply adjust. I asked them, gently, how long these things had been this way. The faucet, 8 months. The bulb, they were not sure, maybe longer. The door, always been a little like that, they said. I did not lecture them. I asked them one question. I said, if a guest of great importance were coming to your home, someone whose opinion of you mattered deeply, would these things still be broken when they arrived? And they looked at each other, and the wife said quietly, no, of course not. We would fix everything. And I said, the channel of abundance is exactly that guest, and it has been arriving at your door every day. And every day it has found a home that is telling it, we are not quite ready. We have not finished preparing. They were quiet for a long moment. Then they asked me what to do. I gave them a very specific instruction. I told them not to try to fix everything at once. That approach creates overwhelm, and overwhelm creates paralysis. I told them to do one repair. One. Before the end of that week. Not the biggest one, not the most expensive one. The one that bothered them the most internally. The one they walked past most often and felt that small, dull register of, this is not right. The husband fixed the door latch on a Thursday afternoon. It took him 40 minutes and a small part from the hardware store. He told me later that when he pushed the door and it clicked cleanly into place for the first time, he stood there for a moment and felt something he could not fully name. A kind of rightness. A kind of, yes, this is how it should be. Within 3 weeks, something shifted in their financial situation. Not dramatically, not overnight, but the wife received an unexpected call about a position she had applied for 6 months earlier and had assumed was gone. The company had restructured and reopened the role, and they wanted her. The salary was considerably better than what she was earning. The husband's car, which they had been bracing themselves to replace, turned out to need only a minor repair that cost a fraction of what they had feared. Small things. But the floor had moved. The stagnation had broken. I am not telling you this to make a guarantee. I have seen too many years and too many lives to deal in guarantees. What I am telling you is what I observed, in a real kitchen, with a real family, over a real period of time. And I have observed variations of this story more times than I can count across 30 years of pastoral work. What you allow to remain broken around you becomes the ceiling above you, and what you commit to repairing becomes an invitation, a genuine spiritual invitation for repair to enter other areas of your life as well. Now I want to give you the specific teaching, not principles in the vague sense, actual instruction. Because wisdom without application is just beautiful words, and beautiful words alone do not move the furniture of your life. The first thing you need to understand is this: there is a difference between broken and old. This teaching is not about newness. It is not about having new things. Old things that are whole and functional and cared for carry a completely different energy than new things that are damaged and ignored. Do not mistake this for a message to go out and spend money replacing what you own. That is not what I am saying. A worn table that is solid and clean and loved is a vessel of stability. A brand new appliance that sits broken in the corner of the kitchen because you have not gotten around to calling the repair service is a declaration of stagnation. It is the brokenness that is the problem, not the age, not the cost, not the appearance. The second thing you need to understand is the law of what the Kabbalists called tikkun, repair. Tikkun is one of the central concepts in Jewish mystical thought, and it means, at its most fundamental level, the act of returning something to its intended wholeness. The entire spiritual purpose of human life, in this framework, is participation in tikkun, in repair. When you fix a broken hinge, you are not just fixing a hinge. You are practicing the posture of a person who participates in repair rather than tolerating brokenness. You are rehearsing, in the physical world, the spiritual identity of someone who does not accept that things must stay broken. And that identity, when it is practiced and reinforced and inhabited, begins to express itself in your relationship with money, with opportunity, with every area of life that has been stagnant. The third thing I want you to hear clearly: the items in your home that carry the most energetic weight are the ones located at specific thresholds. The front entrance, the kitchen, the bedroom. These are not arbitrary. The entrance is the mouth of your home. It is where energy enters. If your front door is damaged, if the lock sticks, if the threshold is broken, if the light at the entrance does not work, you are beginning the flow of energy into your home with obstruction. The ancient teaching is explicit on this. The entrance must be clear, whole, and welcoming. A door that opens with resistance is a home that receives with resistance. The kitchen is where nourishment is prepared, where the energy of provision is transformed into sustenance for the family. A kitchen with a dripping faucet, with a broken stove burner, with a refrigerator that does not seal properly, is a kitchen that is leaking the very substance of provision. And the bedroom, the place of rest and renewal, if it holds broken furniture, a bed that is damaged, a lamp that does not work, you are sleeping inside brokenness. You are resting inside a signal of incomplete repair, and the body absorbs the energetic reality of the space in which it sleeps. The fourth instruction is about water. In the ancient wisdom tradition, water is the element most directly associated with the flow of abundance, with blessing, with purity, with the movement of divine favor through the physical world. This means that any water leak in your home, any dripping faucet, any toilet that runs, any pipe that seeps, these are not simply plumbing problems. They are a running drain on the prosperity frequency of your space. I have watched this specific piece of the teaching produce results that astonished even skeptical people. When a household fixes its water leaks, all of them, not just the obvious ones, something in the financial texture of that household tends to stabilize. Money that was quietly disappearing in ways that were hard to trace begins to find more solid ground. I am not telling you this will make you rich. I am telling you what I have observed again and again in the homes of real people. The fifth instruction is about light. Light, in every spiritual tradition I have studied, represents consciousness, clarity, and divine presence. A home with non-functioning lights is a home with dimness in its spiritual field. Burned-out bulbs that have not been replaced are small surrenders to dimness. Replace every non-functioning light in your home, all of them. Do it with intention, not just mechanically. As you replace each one, say quietly, "This home is a home of light. This home receives." You do not need to say it loudly. You do not need to perform anything. The words spoken quietly, with full intention, carry exactly the weight the ancient teachers assigned to them. The sixth instruction is about clocks and timepieces. A stopped clock in your home is, in the language of spiritual law, a declaration that time has stopped, that movement has ceased, that things are not progressing. I cannot tell you how many homes I have entered over 30 years where there was a stopped clock on the wall, and the family inside was experiencing exactly that quality of life. Things that had been pending for years, decisions that could not seem to move forward, opportunities that almost materialized and then stalled. Remove stopped clocks from your home entirely, or repair them. Do not let them sit. A stopped clock is not neutral. It is actively broadcasting the frequency of stagnation to every person who lives within those walls. The seventh instruction, and listen carefully to this one because it is the one most people skip, is about the things you are keeping because you might fix them someday. The broken appliance in the garage, the piece of furniture in the spare room with the cracked leg, the box of items that are damaged but still somehow feel too valuable to throw away. This is not generosity. This is not practicality. This is a museum of intention that was never followed through. And a home that contains a museum of unfinished repair intention is sending a signal that is more powerful than almost any other energetic statement a home can make. It says, "We begin things and do not complete them." It says, "We hold on to brokenness even when we know it is broken." Clear these things. Either repair them within a specific committed time frame, 7 days, 2 weeks, 1 month, or release them. Because the space that is currently occupied by broken things that will not be repaired is the space where your next breakthrough is waiting to enter. Now I want to speak to what will happen after you begin applying this teaching. Because the ancient wisdom on tikkun is very clear that repair, when you begin it with genuine intention, will be tested. Almost immediately. This is not superstition. This is something I have observed so consistently that I consider it part of the instruction itself. When you begin clearing your space of brokenness, when you start to repair the things you have been tolerating, something in your environment will push back. A new thing will break. A repair will not hold on the first try. You will fix the faucet and 2 days later something else will leak. When this happens, this is not a sign that the teaching does not work. This is not the universe telling you to stop. This is exactly what the sages described as the darkness before the shift. The moment when the pattern, having been challenged, exerts itself one final time. Do not interpret this as failure. Do not use it as evidence that you were foolish to try. Understand it for exactly what it is, the test that comes to every person who begins to move out of stagnation. The ones who pass through it, who repair the second thing, who do not give up after the first resistance, are the ones who reach the other side of the pattern. The ones who stop at the first pushback return to where they were, with only the additional weight of a new disappointment. I have a resource that I want to make available to you. A complete framework I have developed over many years that takes this teaching and extends it into every area of your home and your life. It covers not just broken objects, but the specific arrangement of your space, the words spoken most often within your walls, the relationship between the financial patterns in your family and the physical conditions that have been normalized across years or even generations. This is the full architecture of what the ancient teachers meant when they said that the home is the first temple, the first sacred space, and that its condition is inseparable from the spiritual condition of the family within it. If today's teaching reached something real in you, the link to that complete resource is in the description below this video. Everything you need to go deeper is there. What I want to ask you now, before you close this video, before you go back to your day, is to do one thing. Just one. Not a list, not a project. One thing. Walk through your home in the next hour and identify the single broken item that you walk past most often. The one you have most normalized. The one that has been there long enough that you almost do not see it anymore. And commit, publicly if you are willing, to repairing or removing it within 7 days. Tell me what it is in the comments. Tell me what it is and when you will address it. Because the act of naming it is itself a beginning. And beginning is the only place where anything ever changes. If this teaching stirred something in you today, I want to know. Tell me in the comments what you are taking from this video, what landed, what surprised you, what you are going to do differently. I read every comment personally. This is not a broadcast to an audience for me. This is a conversation with individuals, and I take it seriously. If this channel has been giving you wisdom that you find useful, please subscribe if you have not already. Every time a new subscriber joins this community, I know that the teaching is reaching someone who genuinely wants to grow, and growth is the only direction any of us were meant to move in. And if today's teaching reached something real in you, if something I said cracked open a door that has been closed for longer than it should have been, please press the like button, not for a number, not for an algorithm, but because it tells the platform to carry this message to someone else who is sitting in a home full of broken things, feeling the quiet weight of a life that will not seem to move, and who has not yet understood why. Be the reason that person finds their way to this teaching today. May your home become a vessel of wholeness. May every act of repair you make in the physical world open a corresponding door in the spiritual world. May the energy of tikkun, of restoration, of returning things to their intended wholeness, flow through your hands, through your household, and into every dimension of your life. You were not made for stagnation. You were made for overflow. Begin with what is broken. Begin today. Shalom.